Juneau has 32,500 or so residents, second largest city in Alaska. Alaska is 2.5 times or maybe more the size of Texas in area. There's only 750,000 people in the whole state, not even a million. So you can surmise Alaska is very sparsely populated. It's major wilderness. Alaska has more coastline than the entire lower 48 states. Right here on the right-hand side, this red building we just passed by is the Red Dog Saloon. I pointed out to you because this is kind of an old landmark here in town. Been here since before the turn of the century. But about the turn of the century, a steamboat came through. Some people on it. In those days, if you had weapons, you had to check them with the city. One fellow had a pistol. He checked it with the city, but the boat left rather abruptly. The ship left rather abruptly the next morning. He had to get on it, so he left the pistol. They got it hanging on the wall there at the Red Dog. That fellow, his name was Wyatt Earp. Red Dog is a very old-time saloon, has a lot of very interesting artifacts and memorabilia hanging all over the walls and ceilings. It's family-friendly, so if you please, you might want to have a look in there when you get back. Get up here another block or so, there's going to be a red building on the right-hand side. Beyond that red building is a parking lot. Look up the hillside to the right. You're going to see a 2-story white house with white columns, old antebellum looking house, built in 1906, right up there on top of the hillside on the right. That's the governor's mansion. That is the former home of Sarah Palin. You guys remember her, don't you? And no, you can't see Russia from there. You remember that? Some of you may remember, some may not. Look across the parking lot to the right here and see that building there. It's a brand new State of Alaska Museum right there on the right. Very interesting place to visit if you please, if you like museums. Tell you a little bit about the economy of Juneau. We have commercial timber industry, commercial fishing industry, sport hunting, sport fishing. You know, it's the state capital, a lot of jobs. Tourism, 5 months a year, you guys. And we have 2 gold mines in the borough. Both of them employ about 500 people. He's definitely part of the Juneau, or part of the economy. See this creek right here to the right? Flows under the bridge here and out into the bay. That is Gold Creek. Joe Juneau went up that creek back in 1880, about 1.5 miles, discovered gold. That was pretty much the start of Juneau. I don't know, midsummer, that creek will be choked with thousands of pink salmon, about that big. And you can catch them right downtown. There'll be so many up there hills still, you can walk across the creek but on their backs. I don't know if you know it or not, when you buy a can of salmon, typically you're buying a piece because they're the most prolific. Look to the left, there's a bridge going over Gastineau Channel over to Douglas Island. About 2,500 residents over there. They're definitely part of the Juneau borough. This sky bridge going over the highway here goes into the back, into this blue building on the right. That's the backside of Juneau Douglas High School of Crimson Bears. The reason I point that out, they got a rather unique way of going to play their games. Remember I told you no roads in or out. So they play catch-can, Sitka, Skagway, in different towns throughout southeast Alaska. So let's say they're going to play catch-can, a basketball game. They got to get on a ferry. The state of Alaska owns the Alaska Marine Highway, marine being the key word, highway on the water. They own several sister ferries that traverse throughout these islands in southeast Alaska down to Billingham, Washington, which is right adjacent to Seattle, and back to Skagway, different ports in between. So these kids, they'll hop on the ferry again. It's an overnight trip. They're going to play catch-can, a basketball game. They're going to, again, spend the night on the ferry. They get out and they take the A team, the B team, the cheerleaders. They take just about everybody, girls and the boys. Play several games, make the trip worthwhile. They got to have a place to stay, right? Got to put them in a hotel, too expensive. So they stay with the opposing team member families, and vice versa. So when our kids are there, they house them and feed them. When their kids are here, we house and feed them. It's pretty unique, I think you'll agree. Oh, they grow up, they know each other generation after generation. It works out very well. If it didn't work out that way, there wouldn't be no junior high or high school team sports in southeast Alaska. Moving on from that, right down here on the left-hand side, on the water side in the foreground, those red buildings with red roofs, that's the Macaulay Fish Hatchery. That's owned by the local fishermen's co-op. They built it. We cultivate and raise 3 to 4 different species of salmon, take the pressure off the wild salmon fishery, which is highly regulated. We want to sustain that wild salmon fishery. So these guys, they want more fish, so they've done something about it. So every springtime, they release 100 million salmon fry about this big into this bay and other bays throughout the Juneau Borough. Those fish go on their life journey in the Gulf of Alaska and the Pacific Ocean, some of them darn near to Japan and back. They're gone about 3 to 4 years depending on their species. When they return, they're mature fish, adult fish, they return to spawn and die. That hatchery's right here on the left-hand side, red roof building. You want to go there, get back down, get on the Juneau Tourist Trolley, it'll take you there. It's a very interesting place to visit. So the fish that were released there, they've been gone 3 to 4 years, are coming back this year, right? Because they've been gone. You come back adult fish. Every year it's a different, set of fish. So they got a fish weir, a fish ladder going into that bay there out of one of those buildings. It's much like a long wide staircase with water flowing down it, kind of like a waterfall. They go right up into holding tanks. They stun those fish, they take the eggs from the females, the milk from the males, they fertilize those eggs, incubate them all winter long, till springtime they hatch, and they release them again. It's a constant cycle just like in the wild. The fish that go back to the bays I was telling you about, those fish, this is the payoff. If they belong to the membership of the fishermen that belong to the fishermen's co-op, they're purse seiners. They go out there and they purse seine those fish by the hundreds of thousands of pounds. They sell the eggs to the Japanese, that's caviar. They sell the carcasses to different companies. For example, they make fish meal out of them so nothing goes to waste. That's pretty, that's pretty unique. That's just a short synopsis of what goes on here with the fishery, salmon fishery. One more thing about that hatchery, they got a fishing dock there for the locals that don't have boats. So midsummer, there'll be a lot of people down there fishing off the dock. Let's say the coho salmon are running, that's the silver salmon. They get about this big. They weigh 15, 16, 17 pounds apiece. You're allowed 2 a day. You catch 2 of those a day, it ain't long as you got a freezer full of salmon. Not to mention the other species. I mean, where do you do that in this world nowadays? Very few places. Southeast Alaska is one of them, almost right downtown. Pretty unique. Now, this area we're going through right now, they call Eagle Alley because a lot of times you see a lot of eagles right here in this area. Of course, there's not too many today, I guess, because they're out foraging. But if I see some, I'll point them out to you. Watch this field to the right. There's stumps coming out of the ground. Sometimes there'll be eagles sitting on those stumps. Right now, I don't see anything. I'm looking for you. I'm looking. Look at the trees over there. You see a white head poking out. Looks like a golf ball. That's a bald eagle. Oh, there's nobody. They're gone today.
That's because we're here.
Looking. Okay, there's a bald eagle on the light stanchion. 3 light stanchions down, or 4 on the right. Left, I'm sorry. See him sitting up there?
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Oh, yeah.
Look down the stream bed on the right. Sandbar, wood pile, there's another one. Deep down there.
Wood pile down there. Oh, yeah, right there.
Now, those eagles, they get their white heads when they're about 4 years old. They live approximately 20 years. They weigh approximately 15 pounds. And, they're not endangered here in Juneau, or actually throughout Alaska. The Juneau Borough alone, there's over 20,000 of them. They're not endangered. Okay, look to the right, down this mountain valley, you see that snow saddle? That's a glacier. That's the Lemon Glacier.
Where?
I'll tell you more about that in a minute. I'm going to show you another one further down the road. It's going to be the Mendenhall. Well, let's talk a little bit about these trees on this mountain slope. Look to the left. See those trees over there on those mountains? Isn't it? Looks like it's carpeted. Beautiful. There's 15 million acres of that, guys. 15 million acres. Those are Sitka spruce and western hemlock. Some of those trees grow to be over 200 feet tall, and some of them are over 6 feet thick at the base. It's huge timber. So let's just say we're going to log out 100 acres on that mountain slope. We'll log it. By federal law, we got to replant within 1 year. You do that, and within 50 years, that forest is back. Now, I know that for a fact, because when I first got to Alaska about 45 years ago, there were tree stands in a 10, 20-year growth cycle. That forest is back now. So as you can surmise, we are very good stewards of our fishery and timber resources. See these mountains in the foreground, these white mountains? Snow hasn't melted off of them yet, but that's the Chilkoot Mountain Range. Runs all the way north to and through Skagway. Tell you more about those mountains in a minute. Talk a little bit about that glacier. Back the way we came, on the other side of town is another one. There's 5 glaciers that come into the Juneau Borough. You saw the lemon. Back the other way, out the road, you got to have boats to get to it. On the other side of town is the Taku Glacier up the Taku River Valley. Taku means the native word for high wind or strong wind. This pass we're driving through right now is uncommon for the wind to blow 100 miles an hour. So there's 3 more glaciers ahead of us here, the Mendenhall, and then out the road before you get to the end of the road, there's 2 more, the Herbert and the Eagle glaciers. You can hike to all of them. Those 5 glaciers are 5 of 38 significant glaciers that flow out of what is known as the Juneau Ice Field, which is right over Thunder Mountain here, about 7 miles. Now, you know that ice field's got to be big. You got 38 significant glaciers flowing out of it in different areas, different directions. So picture in your mind's eye these high mountains, deep valleys, heavily forested that you've seen so far. Picture that in your mind's eye. That type of terrain, only 1,500 square miles of that, only no trees, all ice. It's got to be huge for them glaciers, that many glaciers to be coming out in different directions. 1,500 square miles, high mountains, deep valleys, all ice. This area we just entered right now is called the Valley, or Juneauites call it the Valley. 70% of the population of Juneau, the residents live here in the valley. And why? Because it's flat. So do the black bears. They're out of hibernation. They're roaming the valleys. They're hungry. Kids will be playing out in the yard. Here comes a bear. They go inside and tell their mama the bear helmet's off. They go right back outside and start playing against it. It's part of the lifestyle here. It's part of the fabric of living in southeast, actually throughout Alaska. So you deal with them. You give them plenty of room. You do. They don't bother you. You don't bother them. Works out quite well, actually. Right up here, we're going to, anyway, I know that you know that we do a lot of fishing and hunting. We're talking a little bit about the hunting. We hunt deer, black bear, brown bear, mountain goat, and moose over on the Chilkoot Mountain Range that I pointed out to you.
You have to hunt mountain goat.
Deer season, we'll talk about that in a minute. That runs from August through Christmas. You're allowed 4 deer a season per family member. So if you got 6 people in your family, for example, you can get 24 deer. Well, that's a lot of deer. Well, nobody does that, of course, too many. I lived in Sitka, which is on the Gulf of Alaska, about 300 miles south of here. It's a small town, village, 8,500 people. No roads in, no roads out. You're isolated. You're definitely out of the mainstream of society. Nobody even knows you're there. Raised 2 daughters there. I kill 4 or 5 deer a year, get 3 or 4 different species of salmon, get them in the freezer. Halibut, king crab, chop about 14, 15 cords of wood, ready for the winter. Pretty much what everybody does to one degree or another. It's a beautiful lifestyle here. Nice living here. Look at it. It's beautiful. These are the days that we live for. By the way, this is rain country. This is a temperate rainforest. So it rains over 100 inches a year. If you don't like rain, it rains about 65-70% of the time. But we have to have it to sustain the forest. So we get back to that hunting. The deer hunting ain't all that great in Juneau. So we got to go across to my left here, across a bay called Young's Bay, about 20 miles over to an island called Admiralty Island. Admiralty Island has a lot of deer over there, a lot of deer. The only problem is that's also the home of the coastal brown bear. Okay? Admiralty Island about 1,500 square miles. I figure there's more brown bear per capita on that island than anywhere else in the Western Hemisphere. Those bears can get up to 10 feet tall, weigh in excess of 1,000 pounds. Whew. They're big. But you're over there, you're hunting. That's where we go hunting. That's where all the deer are. You shoot a deer, if a bear's within earshot, the gun sight is probably going to head your way. Why? He knows you're going to find, at the very least, he'll find a gut pile, because you're preparing to pack him out. You're going to pack him out. There's no other way to get him out. There's no roads up there. There's only game trails. Tell you more about that in a minute. Right now we're crossing the Brotherhood Bridge. Mendenhall River flows under it. Look to your extreme right down the river and keep on looking past the trees. You'll see more of the glacier right there. There it is. That's the Mendenhall. Keep on looking. You'll see more of it. Isn't that beautiful? Now they tell me that glacier, from the top of that glacier down to the valley that it flows out of, is 1,600 feet deep. It's a big, now you know why that 1,500 square mile ice field's got to be so big. You got 38 glaciers like that flowing out in different directions. It's huge. So we'll get back to that hunting. So you're packing that deer out. Here comes a bear. Got him on your back.
A pretty church.
Guess what he wants? You keep moving, hope he don't move with you, but if he does, party's over. You gotta make a decision. You can't shoot him over, it's against the law. You wouldn't want to anyway, it's his home, not yours. Plus that if you shoot him, they're not that easy to kill at times, and you might start something you can't finish. You won't like the outcome of that. They like to bluff charge, some of them. That means they'll run at you, and at a certain point they'll bear to the right or the left, but you don't know it's a bluff charge, do you? Can't read his mind. So every hunter's got his range, or he's gonna let him come in across that red line. You cross that red line, you're gonna open fire on him, because you don't know. Now you've started something you gotta finish. You gotta kill him. So the prudent thing to do before any of that happens is flip that deer off your back and let him have it. Come back another day. That's the prudent thing to do. That's what you're expected to do if you have a choice. So needless to say, these hunts can be quite adventurous. Been hunting here 45 years, running up down these mountain slopes. When my legs went south, they ain't coming back, so I'm done doing that. This is a beautiful lake here on the right. It's Auk Lake. Auk Indians had a village here for a couple of hundred years. There's a fellow showed up, you might know who he was, back in the late 1880s, famous explorer. His name was John Muir. Very interesting fellow. You want to read a good book about an explorer, boy, that's a good one. I mean, the guy led a very interesting life, roaming northwestern United States up into Alaska. God, look at this, man. Look at this. What a day. Look at these trees. Look at that water. Look at them mountains over there to the left. Jesus. You guys ought to be happy, happy, happy. That's why I've been here for 45 years. I mean, I took one look at this, and I go, damn, man. I love to hunt and fish, and this is it. Like I say, it's all wilderness for the most part. So anyway, that body of water to the left. Did you guys have your coffee this morning? You're very solemn. But anyway, that's Auk Bay to the left. That's obviously where our boats are. So I'm going to take you down here close to the boat ramp. You'll be met by our boat crew members. They're going to take you down the boat you're assigned to. You're going to be off on that whale watch. You'll be gone about an hour and 45 minutes. Look at that water, slick calm. You're really going to enjoy it. And when you return, I may or may not be the one that picks you up, because they rotate us all over town. But rest assured, when you get back, there will be 2 Juneau tour buses waiting in the parking lot over here to take you to your next destination, whether it's over to the glacier or back to town. So we know what your schedule is. We don't want you to worry about it. We're going to take care of you.